Hello, and welcome back to Easy English Journey. I'm your host, Smith.
And I'm Rose. Thanks for joining us today on our English learning adventure.
Last time, we talked about general English learning tips. Today, we have something special for you: how to speak English easily.
Yes, we know many of you find speaking the hardest part. You understand when others talk, but when it's your turn, the words just don't come out.
Don't worry, this happens to everyone. Today, we'll share simple but powerful ways to help you start speaking English with more confidence.
We've prepared lots of easy tips that really work, even if you're just beginning your English journey.
We'll cover everything from first words to full conversations and show you how to practice even if you don't have anyone to talk to.
So get comfortable, maybe grab a pen and paper to take notes, and let's get started with our speaking adventure.
Rose, why do you think many beginners find speaking English so difficult?
Well, Smith, I think the main problem is fear. Many people are afraid of making mistakes or sounding wrong when they speak.
That's so true. And there's also the challenge of thinking and speaking at the same time, right?
Exactly. In our first language, we don't think about grammar or vocabulary. We just speak. But in a new language, our brain is working extra hard.
It's like trying to cook a new recipe while reading the instructions for the first time. There's a lot happening at once.
And English has some tricky sounds that don't exist in other languages. Plus, English speakers talk fast in movies and songs.
Don't forget about slang and idioms. When someone says, "I'm feeling under the weather," or "that costs an arm and a leg," it can be very confusing for beginners.
But here's the good news. Everyone starts somewhere, and with the right practice, anyone can learn to speak English well.
Before we jump into speaking tips, I want to talk about something important: the silent period.
Yes. The silent period is the time when you're learning and listening, but not speaking much yet. This is completely normal and healthy.
Many language experts say that listening first helps your brain understand the patterns of English before you start speaking.
So if you've been learning English but don't feel ready to speak much yet, that's perfectly fine. You're not behind. Your brain is working and preparing.
Just like a baby listens for months before saying their first words, language learners often need time to absorb before producing the language.
Let's talk about how to start speaking with easy words and phrases.
A great way to begin is with survival phrases, the most useful expressions that help you in everyday situations.
For example, hello, thank you, please, I don't understand, and can you speak slowly, please?
These simple phrases can help you start basic conversations. Let's practice pronouncing them clearly.
Hello. Notice how the H is pronounced with a small breath.
Thank you. The torn sound is made by putting your tongue between your teeth.
Please. The E makes a long E sound like cheese.
I don't understand. We connect these words together when speaking naturally. I don't understand.
Can you speak slowly, please? Notice how my voice goes up at the end because it's a question.
Another helpful tip is to learn pairs of questions and answers. For example, how are you? And the response, I'm fine, thank you.
Or what's your name? And my name is Rose.
Where are you from? And I'm from...
Do you speak English? And yes, a little. Or I'm learning.
Practice these pairs until they become automatic. You want to answer without having to think too hard.
A fun way to practice is to use flashcards or sticky notes. Write English words on everyday objects in your home.
Yes, put a note on your refrigerator that says refrigerator or fridge. When you see it, say the word out loud.
Now let's share some unique ways to practice speaking that many teachers don't tell you about.
First, try the mirror technique. Stand in front of a mirror and have a conversation with yourself in English.
This might feel silly at first, but it helps you see your mouth movements and facial expressions. Plus, there's no pressure since you're alone.
Another fun idea is shadow speaking. Find a short English video with subtitles. First, just watch it.
Then watch again. But this time pause after each sentence and repeat exactly what the person said, with the same speed, tone, and expression.
This trains your mouth to make English sounds correctly. Try to become the character you're listening to.
Here's another unique tip. Use your phone to set reminders in English that prompt you to say something.
For instance, set a reminder for 10 a.m. that says, say 3 things you can see right now in English.
Or create voice notes describing your day in simple English. Listen to these notes later and try to improve them.
I also love the describe what you're doing technique. As you go about your day, quietly narrate your actions in English.
Like when you're cooking, I'm cutting an onion. Now I'm heating the oil. I'm adding salt.
This helps you practice useful everyday vocabulary without needing a conversation partner.
One more fun idea. Try English-only zones in your home. For example, your kitchen is an English-only area. When you're there, you can only speak or think in English.
Many beginners worry too much about pronunciation. Remember, your goal is to be understood, not to sound exactly like a native speaker.
That's right. But here are some simple tricks to improve your pronunciation naturally.
First, focus on the rhythm of English. English is like music. Some syllables are stressed, louder and longer, and others are reduced, shorter and quieter.
For example, in the word computer, the stress is on the second syllable, computer.
And in a sentence like, I want to go to the store, the words want, go, and store are stressed more than the small words.
Try tapping your hand while saying this sentence. I want to go to the store. Tap harder on the stressed words.
Another easy trick is to learn sounds by feeling them. For the th sound, put your hand in front of your mouth and make sure you feel air on your fingers when you say words like think or 3.
For the difference between V and W, try this. For V, as in very, your bottom lip touches your upper teeth. For W, as in water, your lips make a round shape without touching your teeth.
Here's a fun exercise. Find minimal pairs, words that differ by just one sound. Practice saying them one after another.
Like ship and sheep, hit and heat, or full and fool.
Another tip is to record yourself reading a simple text, then compare it with a native speaker's recording of the same text.
Don't try to fix everything at once. Choose just 1 or 2 sounds to improve each week.
And remember, many successful English speakers around the world have accents. Your accent is part of your identity, and that's perfectly fine.
Many learners say, I don't have anyone to practice English with. But you don't always need a partner.
That's right. Let's share some ways to practice speaking alone.
First, try reading out loud for 5 minutes every day. Choose something simple like a children's book or a short news article.
Focus on speaking clearly and with good expression, not just saying the words.
Another idea is to have imaginary conversations. Pretend you're ordering food, asking for directions, or introducing yourself to someone new.
You can even act out both sides of the conversation. First, you're the customer, then you're the waiter.
Listening to podcasts like ours and repeating what you hear is also excellent practice.
Don't forget about language learning apps that use speech recognition. Many free apps let you practice speaking and get feedback on your pronunciation.
You can also record yourself answering simple questions like, what did you do today? Or, what's your favorite food?
Then listen to your recording the next day. You'll notice things you want to improve or change.
Even talking to your pet or a stuffed animal in English can help. The important thing is to make speaking a daily habit.
Once you feel a bit more confident, it's time to have real conversations with others. But how do you start?
Start with very short exchanges. For example, if you're buying something, don't just point, use simple English. This one, please, or how much?
Then gradually increase to longer conversations. You might say, I like this shirt. How much is it? Or do you have this in blue?
Phone calls can be especially challenging because you can't see the other person's face. Try practicing with simple calls first.
Maybe call a restaurant to ask if they're open, or call a store to check their hours. These are short calls with predictable language.
Online language exchange apps are amazing for finding people to talk with. You can help someone learn your language while they help you with English.
Many of these apps let you search for beginners like yourself, so you don't feel pressured to speak perfectly.
Local libraries and community centers often have free English conversation clubs. These are usually very welcoming to beginners.
If you're shy, remember that you can prepare before conversations. Write down some questions or phrases you might need.
And always have these emergency phrases ready. Could you speak more slowly, please? Could you repeat that? And how do you say kak in English?
Don't worry if you need to use gestures or even draw pictures sometimes. communication is about more than just words.
And remember, most people are patient and happy to help language learners. Your effort to speak their language will usually be appreciated.
Let's do a simple practice conversation that beginners can use in many situations. We'll go slowly and then explain the useful phrases.
Great idea. Ready?
Hello, how are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm good. My name is Smith. What's your name?
I'm Rose. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Where are you from, Rose?
I'm from Brazil. How about you?
I'm from Canada. Do you like living here?
Yes, I do, but I'm still learning English. Can you speak slowly, please?
Of course. How long have you been learning English?
For about 6 months. It's sometimes difficult, but I enjoy it.
Your English sounds good. Would you like to practice sometime?
Yes, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Great. Here's my phone number.
Thank you. I'll text you later.
Perfect. Have a nice day.
You too. Goodbye. Now, listeners, try practicing this conversation. Notice how we used simple, short sentences.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Easy English Journey. We hope you found these tips helpful.
Remember, everyone starts as a beginner. The most important thing is to start speaking and to practice regularly.
In our next episode, we'll talk about English for travel, useful phrases and tips for when you visit English-speaking countries.
We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment on our YouTube channel and tell us, what is your biggest challenge when speaking English?
And if you found this episode helpful, please subscribe and share it with friends who are also learning English.
Remember our motto, small steps, big progress. You don't need to be perfect, just a little better each day. And I'm Rose. Keep practicing, keep smiling, and we'll see you next time. Bye.